The Zephyrian Council had deliberated for cycles before reaching their decision. Humanity had become too dangerous, too unpredictable. Their expansion across 17 star systems in less than 2 centuries was unprecedented. Their technological adaptation bordered on the impossible. Something had to be done. The Devourers have been contained in the Crimson Nebula for 3 millennia, High Counselor Vexthak announced to the Assembly. We release one. Let it feast on human worlds until they learn their place. The other council members shifted uncomfortably. The Devourers were ancient weapons, biomechanical nightmares created by a long-dead civilization. Each one was a planet killer, capable of consuming entire worlds and converting matter into more copies of itself. They had been quarantined for good reason. The risk, began Counselor Murthy, is acceptable, Vexthak cut her off. Humans are the greater threat. They form bonds with species we've warred with for millennia. They turn enemies into allies with disturbing ease. They must be stopped before they unite the galaxy against us. The vote was close, but the decision was made. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance as proximity alarms blared. Through the view screen, she watched something impossible tear through the outer defenses of New Shanghai Colony like tissue paper. Ma'am, we're receiving evacuation requests from the surface, her communications officer reported, voice tight with fear. That thing, it's already consumed 3 continents. The creature was massive, easily the size of a small moon, its surface, writhing with mechanical tendrils and organic appendages. It pulsed with a sickly green light as it fed, converting matter into energy and replicating its own twisted biology. All ships, maintain distance, Sarah ordered. We need to understand what we're dealing with. Dr. James Okafor, the ship's xenobiologist, studied the readings with growing horror. Captain, this entity is absorbing everything, organic, inorganic, doesn't matter. But there's something strange about its neural patterns. Strange how? It's lonely and angry. These aren't the brainwaves of a mindless devourer. There's intelligence here, but it's been isolated for so long it's gone mad. Sarah stared at the monster consuming her colony. Can we communicate with it? Theoretically, yes, but ma'am, the protocols would require someone to interface directly with its consciousness. The risks? Do it. The mental link was agony. Sarah's consciousness touched the Devourer's mind and was immediately overwhelmed by millennia of solitude and rage. She saw its memories, being created as a weapon, then abandoned when its creators realized what they had made. Locked away in the void, watching stars die, completely alone. Hunger, came the alien thought, not just for matter but for connection, for purpose. I know, Sarah projected back, fighting through the psychic maelstrom. I know what it's like to be alone. For a moment, the creature's feeding slowed. You speak, I speak, and I want to understand. Sarah shared her own memories, growing up on an overcrowded Earth, losing her family in the resource wars, finding new family among her crew. She showed it humanity's journey to the stars, their struggles, their victories, their endless drive to explore and connect. The Devourer recoiled, then surged forward with desperate hunger, not for matter but for these experiences, these connections. So many minds, so many lives touching each other. How? We don't do it alone, Sarah replied. We build communities. We help each other. Even our enemies can become friends. Enemies. Friends? The concept seemed to shatter something in the creature's psyche. The Makers said I was weapon, only death. The Makers were wrong. You choose what you are. The Zephyrian fleet arrived expecting to find human worlds scoured clean. Instead, they found the Devourer floating protectively around Earth, its massive form shielding the planet from their approach. Impossible, Vexthak snarled. It should have consumed everything by now. The response came not from humanity, but from the creature itself, its voice carrying across all communication frequencies in perfect Zephyrian. I am Keeper now. Earth friend. Human protector. You who made me weapon, You who sent me to destroy consume, you are not welcome here. The human fleet appeared behind the Zephyrians, led by the Defiance. Captain Chen's voice joined the Keepers. The Keeper has chosen to protect rather than destroy. It's learned what we've always known, that strength comes from building up, not tearing down. You sent a monster to break us, but we don't break. We adapt. We connect. We turn enemies into family. Vexthak's mandibles clicked in fury. Fire. Destroy them both. The Zephyrian weapons discharged, but the Keeper absorbed the energy, converting it harmlessly. Then, to everyone's surprise, it began to sing, a hauntingly beautiful melody that resonated across space itself. "What is that?" Murthy whispered. "It's a lullaby." Dr. Okafor's voice came over the comm. "The captain taught it that. It's trying to calm you down, not hurt you." One by one, the Zephyrian ships powered down their weapons. The alien crews found themselves thinking of home, of peace, of connections beyond conflict. Years later, the Keeper remained Earth's faithful guardian, its form now decorated with cities and gardens that humans had built upon its surface. It had learned to create as well as consume, to nurture rather than devour. Children would press their hands against viewing ports to wave at their protector, and the Keeper would pulse with gentle light in response. It had found something more valuable than matter to feed on: love, friendship, and the endless human capacity to see potential for good in even the darkest places. The Zephyrians had sent a monster to destroy humanity's spirit. Instead, they had given Earth the most loyal guardian in the galaxy. And in the process, they had learned something about humans that would reshape galactic politics forever. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology or tactics. It was their ability to transform enemies into family, monsters into protectors, and isolation into connection. The Keeper had found its purpose at last, not as a weapon of destruction, but as a guardian of the species that had shown it what it truly meant to belong.